Hi guys, welcome to my channel. How have you been? What's been happening with you? How have you been coping with the lockdown? I hope you've been staying safe. I hope you're fine, healthy. I hope your families are fine as well. What have you been doing to keep busy? I know these are very, very unusual times. Like, I can't remember the last time I had compulsorily had to stay home for this long. It's probably never. But what have you been doing? How have you been keeping busy? What are the things you've been doing to stay active, to drive boredom? Do you have a TikTok? Share with me if you do. I do not have a TikTok, sorry. I didn't start a TikTok account, but I've been, pretty much keeping busy. I have been working from home, so that still pretty much occupies my 9 to 5. And then I have been watching a lot of TV. I got a Crave subscription. I also got an Amazon Prime subscription. This is in addition to my already existing Netflix subscription. So yes, I have been binging a lot on a lot of TV shows and series. I love Ozark on Netflix. I love 000 on Amazon Prime. You can check these out if you want. I've also been listening to a lot of podcasts. I will be honest, I have not taken any online courses. I just do not think I want to right now. But other than that, I've been fine. I have food to eat. I'm safe in a home. Everything is fine. I'm really grateful, and I'm happy you guys are doing well as well. I'm also happy that some of you are already thinking of the next step in your Canada journey, because obviously the quarantine will not be forever, hence this video. So today I will be talking about living alone in Canada versus sharing a space with a roommate. My name is Neka. This is Niger Canada Girl. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, and you'll be getting notifications every time I have new content. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's just dive right into the topic of today. Accommodation is very important. I understand why I get a lot of questions about, how do I get a place? What sort of places are there? What do they cost averagely? How can I save and all that? I have a different video about how to rent a place here in Canada when you land. I would share the information in my description box so that you can check it out. I would not be diving too much into that in this particular video. So let's just go straight to the main topic of the day. So accommodation, you can either live alone or you can live with someone, and we'll be talking about the pros and cons. Let's start with living alone. Living alone pretty much means you get a place, you're the person who is in contact with the landlord, you're paying your bill to the landlord, you are getting a place and living alone. Well, not necessarily living alone, you could decide to have your friend come stay with you or whatever. But the main piece is that you are responsible for the bill, the monthly bills. You're responsible for the rent monthly, internet bills, power and utilities, basically. That's your responsibility. So it's really attractive staying alone. I can understand why that would be your first option, to stay alone. So let's just see other things you might need to consider as well. So like I said, one of the first pros is privacy. You just get into your home, you do your thing. You can play whatever music you want, cook whatever sort of food you want and not be bothered about bothering anyone. Decorate your home how you want. Make your decision on if you want to clean this week or not. That's totally up to you. You can decide what sort of colors your furniture would be, the sort of theme your interior would have. It's pretty much your home. You can decide to stay in, do whatever you want. You're the boss of your home, okay? You pretty much get the idea. If you've lived alone, you're pretty much familiar with how this works and you are used to it. So these are some of the advantages of living alone. However, there are some disadvantages, or do I call them cons? I'd rather put it as things to consider if you'd be living alone as a new immigrant. One of the first things, or I would say the most important thing to consider, is the cost of living alone. Now, depending on the part of Canada you want to live in, housing might be a bit more expensive. Here, rent is paid monthly. I live in Toronto, and in Toronto, if you want to live alone, the best you can get, or the average amount you'd be spending, let's not say the best, let's say the lowest amount you'd probably be spending would be between $1,100 and even up to $2,000. So let's just say minimum of $1,100, and that would probably get you a basement that you can live alone in. If you would not want to live in a basement and you'd prefer an apartment or a condo, so now these are like high-rise structures, just like if you live in Lagos, like 1004, like those buildings, it has a hotel style type, apartments and units, facilities in the building and all that. If you'd want to live in a condo or in an apartment, you'd be spending way over $1,100 to get a place of your own. You'll probably be spending anywhere between maybe $1,500 and above, or even more, and above. So as someone who's just landing, who's probably still trying to get a job, trying to get their finances sorted out, this might not be something you might be willing to embark on immediately. So that's one of the things that might sway you away from living alone. And also, another con would be the fact that apart from having to pay the rent, you would also be responsible for your utilities. So things like power, things like your monthly internet fees, those would also land right on your laps. And also things like any other thing that comes with owning a house. So you move into a house, definitely you need to furnish it. You need to buy a bed. You need to buy a mattress. Fun fact, the average cost of a mattress here in Canada is about, let's say 700 Canadian dollars. That's a cheap mattress. Mattresses are not affordable here. Okay, so you need to buy a mattress. This is without the bed, just the mattress. So you need to buy a bed, you need to furnish your home, you need to buy a couch, TV, get utensils for the kitchen and all that. So these are some of the costs you also need to factor in. Okay. And another thing you might want to consider is the fact that you will not have company. It really depends on you. Some people might not be big on company. They are really fine with living on their own. So that's something else that would be something to consider. Would you want company, or would you want to completely live on your own? So these are some of the things to consider if you are looking into staying on your own here in Canada. I think the biggest piece is just the cost. Are you able to afford it at this time? And not just afford it on a monthly basis. Like I said, bills here are monthly. Is this something you would want to do after you've gotten a job? Are you able to afford it without getting a job? So these are some of the things to weigh before making your decision. Now let's dive into moving into a house with someone or sharing a space with someone, having a roommate. Here it's called a roommate. Well, supposedly a housemate, but it's called a roommate here. Now having a roommate can come in different forms. You can get a place, say a 2-bedroom condo, and decide to split the cost with a friend. So this way you both are collectively paying the bills and you are just splitting the cost. Okay, that's one way. Another way is sharing a place with someone who already has a place. Sharing a place with someone who already has a place is completely different. So it means Nika, for example, has a house, a 2-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom condo, apartment, basement, and she already has everything furnished. She has a couch, she has utensils in the kitchen. Your room probably already has a bed. So all Nika is doing is letting out one room in her apartment. Sometimes you're lucky and the room might have its own washroom. If you're not lucky, there would be a shared washroom. So Nika is renting out that room. You, however, share the common spaces. Like you can use the living room, the kitchen, but your room is yours, her room is hers. So that's how sharing works here. Okay. Now, what are some of the pros of sharing? Obviously, the biggest piece would be your ability to spend less monthly. Okay. I live in Toronto, like I said. From $700 or even a little less monthly, you can share a comfortable space with someone. But like I said, guys, this also depends on your preference, okay? Sharing a space with someone might not be your immediate preference, but might be your option or what you're able to afford, okay? So right now, I'm just laying out some of the things you need to note about whatever option you decide to go with, okay? So like I said, one of the biggest pieces is that it's very affordable, or more affordable, so to speak. You're able to spend less, and even when you get a job, it helps you, save while you're still trying to get rooted in Canada. It helps you save. The last thing you want is to have a high payout every month. One of the things you should aim for is to make your monthly payout as low as possible in whatever way you can. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why a lot of people decide to share a space with a roommate. Now, what is another advantage? It depends. For you, it might be an advantage. For someone else, it might not be. Is company. So you have company, for example, it's a lockdown right now. I know you could get really, really boring just being alone. You could get really bored not having anyone to talk to, not have anyone to share some of your feelings with, just being alone. So having a roommate comes with having company. So it means that there is someone you can talk to every now and then, someone you can bounce ideas off, someone you can have chit chat with, ask questions, especially if the person has been in Canada longer than you have. That would come in really helpful. Also, a lot of the time when you share a space with someone, the rent a lot of the time already includes the utilities. So for example, the person might already have internet connection. You don't have to pay that monthly anymore, like Wi-Fi. The rent already includes the power bill monthly. So here there's the hydro bill, there's the gas bill, like there's gas and there's electricity. Those are two different bills. So sometimes the person already has included that in the rent. So the only thing you're focused on at that point is paying your monthly rent. And once you pay that for the month, you're good. You don't have to pay for the internet, for the power or other utilities. Another advantage is that it might afford you the opportunity to stay in somewhere you might not have ordinarily been able to stay in for that amount. So you might be lucky to get a really nice building that has a pool, that has a gym, that has a party room, that has a lot of amenities. It's going to be quite nice, luxurious and all that. And it's affordable because you're sharing it with someone. So you're splitting the cost. If you wanted to take that amount you had on your own, let me keep using my $1,200 example, you will not be able to get somewhere that would have all those things and live alone in like a one-bedroom apartment here in Toronto. And something else to note, guys, is that I live in Toronto, so my examples are based off living in Toronto. Housing, obviously, is much more affordable in other provinces like Alberta, Nova Scotia, other provinces outside, any province actually, well, maybe apart from British Columbia, or any other province outside Ontario, housing is much more affordable there. But then it's Toronto, so this is just like the Lagos of Canada. So a lot of people come here for the opportunities. If this is your destination as well, then this video will be really relevant to you, okay? So those are the pros of sharing a space with someone. Now, what are the cons? Obviously, the biggest piece is compatibility. So imagine sharing a space with someone you just do not have similar values with. You're probably a very clean person, but the person can be bothered. You probably have OCD and the person is everything that is opposite of OCD. So while you're trying to make sure everything is in order, the person is dishing out all your pet peeves in quantity, like in large quantities. Do you get? So that's one of the things you might need to consider. How is your interaction with the person? What are your values like? Do you have similar values? Oh, you don't smoke. Guess what? The person smokes in the house. So these are some of the things you need to consider as the cons of living with someone. The good thing is, for moving into an already occupied space, to rent a space in someone's building or apartment or whatever, you do not have to pay a 1-year lease. A 1-year lease usually means that it's not like you're paying the whole rent for 1 year. It just means that you're tying yourself into a contract for 1 year. But when you're moving into this sort of houses where you need to share with people, you do not need to sign a lease. You just pay month on month. So if things aren't going too well, or say you get a job and there's a closer location you'd rather live in, then you can just let the person know a month or 2 months ahead, like, hey, I've gotten another place and I will be leaving on XYZ date. Okay. And then another con, of course, of living with a roommate might be that you might not have as much privacy as you want. So you're trying to study, there's probably music playing loudly somewhere, or just generally you might not be in the mood to see people and you just want to be on your own. Unfortunately, if you're not in your room, you do not have that luxury because you have shared spaces like the living room, the kitchen, and chances are that you'd bump into the person more than once a day. Okay. Another thing is you have little or no power in decision making. If the person wants to have green walls, orange carpet, blue couch, that's their business. You really can't do much about it. So you just have to love the house as it is. Okay, so you're really limited in your say in things. I mean, you could have inputs and all that. However, there isn't so much you can change in that regard. So these are some of the cons, I would say, that come with living with people. The best way to check to see what an average home or rental apartment would cost in the city you want to live in is to use rental websites here in Canada like kijiji.ca. I think there's also rentals.ca, there's Facebook Marketplace. That would give you an idea of how much how much rent is in whatever city you want to live in. And you're able to begin to plan to see, am I able to live alone right off the bat? Am I able to share with someone for a period of time until I find my footing? That really depends on you. But whatever the choice, whatever the option you choose, just make sure it's something you're comfortable with. Okay. Yeah, quick tip. The best way to find a roommate, if that's the option you're going with here in Canada, is to just Google roommate, female roommate in Toronto or male roommate in Toronto, and you'll see options on Kijiji. The Google would actually show you results from Kijiji, and from there you can see different options. The best part as well is that whatever decision you make, it's not just something that is done and sealed. You get to go to the place, view it, meet the person you'll be sharing with, and from there you can decide if this is the sort of person you can live with or not. Okay? So guys, I am happy to have been able to share some content with you today. I haven't done a lot of this during the lockdown. I'm also happy that you're still planning your process. Till my next video, guys, continue to stay safe. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're yet to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. Take care, guys, and stay safe. Bye.